Hey everyone, welcome to the results video of the mini ride recreation contest. In this contest all the players have to recreate a ride that exists or that has existed, and for this contest they also had to recreate its surroundings. So yeah, we got 11 entries for this mini contest. I will show all of them, starting with the one that got the lowest score, and I'll end by revealing which entry is the winner of this round. Alright, in last place we have this entry from Only Chaos DJ. He recreated this ride called Cyclone, which is somewhere on Prince Edward Island in Canada. Yeah, I think the coaster actually looks pretty nice. I think Only Chaos DJ did a nice job on the support. Although probably it's a good idea to watch out a bit with clipping, for example, over here. This is pretty obvious, probably better to move it downwards a bit. But yeah, overall I think the ride itself looks really cool. Especially the supports, I think they look great. As for the rest of the park, well, for example the foliage over here, these trees all look really irregular next to each other. Probably good idea to put a few bushes in between, and probably put some trees of varying heights, or maybe play a bit with the height of the trees. For example, the ones in this row in front, you can probably move them up or down a little bit, because most of the tree isn't visible anyway, and that will make it look like there's some more variation. And probably also a good idea to name all the tracks in the park. But yeah, overall I think it's actually a pretty good entry. Okay, next up is the entry from Soccer Dude XX. He recreated Rock and Roller Coaster at Disney World. I have to say I really like the outside of the park, and also the foliage here is also pretty nice. It's a little bit crowded here, but of course it's a Disney park. I also quite like this car here in the front of the building, that's pretty cool. Now I should actually probably use the cutaway view instead of hiding scenery. And here inside we can actually see the coaster. So the station notes over here, then here there's the launch section. Then it goes through this Cobra roll. Not really sure if the original also had a Cobra roll. Wasn't it like a sea serpent roll? I'm not actually sure. But yeah, I do recognize the rest of the layout. Also with this corkscrew here at the end. The brake section here in the middle. I think Soccer Dude did a pretty good job recreating the layout. Although the rest of the interior is a little bit bland. I do believe the ride is normally dark on the inside. But yeah, there are a few signs here above the track, but I do believe the actual ride has some more decoration. But still, I think Soccer Dude did a really nice job here. Okay, the next entry is from Savvy Adam. Now, he also recreated a ride that's on Prince Edward Island. This one's Buccaneer Bay Bullet, or Buccaneer Bullet. Yeah, it's quite a gentle ride. It's like a junior coaster with a pretty long train. Yeah, not much to say about the ride really. The layout is pretty simple. There are some paths going under it, and Adam actually added some foliage all around it. Yeah, to be fair, there is not really much to see here. Of course, I believe the real ride also really doesn't have much going on for it. So maybe it would have been better to go for a different ride that has a little bit more interesting surroundings. But of course, it is always nice to go for a coaster that's close to where you live. Right, here's the entry from Colorblind Unicorn. He recreated one of these, I believe it's a Vekoma Whirlwind coaster. So yeah, these coasters have a pretty simple layout, although it is often pretty difficult to actually recreate this in Rollercoaster Tycoon. I do think the version that has a corkscrew over here is actually easier to recreate than the version that actually has a loop. Yeah, because of the layout of the corkscrew. But yeah, I think a Colorblind Unicorn actually did a really good job recreating this layout. I also like how we put this catwalk over here, and now we used these large corkscrews yeah, to actually make the corkscrews for this coaster. I think yeah, they work pretty well. The scale of them is actually pretty good. Although of course the transition from corkscrew track to looping coaster track is a little bit yeah, a little bit of an awkward transition. Alright, the next entry is from Ball Pit Warrior. Now he recreated this ride called Clockworks. I believe it's at Luna Park. Not really sure. No, the park isn't actually named. Luna Park, Coney Island, something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's one of those rides which has the vehicles rotate on arms that look like they're almost sort of interlocked. Of course, this is yeah, official detail that's really tricky to capture in Rollercoaster Tycoon. So that's probably why Ball Pit Warrior actually just made the vehicles go around like this. Yeah, more or less following the trajectory that they would follow if the ride also rotated. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe the effect would have been nicer if the cars actually just went around in a circle like this without the base of the ride yeah, rotating, so without the cars rotating along the track like this. But yeah, it's just a really tricky visual effect to capture in Rollercoaster Tycoon. But yeah, I think this is actually a pretty nice effort at doing one of these rides. Okay, here we have the entry from Joff Zero Bob. He recreated this ride called Troublesome Trucks Runaway, which is a coaster at Thomas the Train Land. Not really sure which park anymore. But yeah, I watched the POV of this ride, and I think it's actually fairly accurate. It's not the most exciting ride, but Joff did a pretty nice job at recreating this coaster. I also really like the surroundings with all these other rides around it. Train tracks, here we can see the Thomas ride. Here we can see yeah, several other rides in the park as well. Yeah, I think this is a really fun park to explore. Especially like this ride. It looks like there's a tram here, which has been used as the vehicle for a motion simulator. It actually looks really silly, and I like it. It's just so funny to watch this go around. Not sure if it's a very safe ride. But yeah, I think it's a really nice entry from Joff Zero Bob. Okay, here's the entry from Lurker, and he recreated a water ride. This is Pittsburgh Plunge. Now, I don't remember which park this ride was from, but I believe it's a park that Lurker has visited a few times. Not actually sure, but yeah, I think this ride looks really nice. I love all the nice details on here. The supports, they look super nice. I really like the lift hill, the machinery down here, the rock work. All the details next to the track, like this. Yeah, I believe these are tracks to catch the water that falls next to it when it's splashing here. I like the foliage around the ride. Yeah, I think Lurker just did an amazing job here. Now, you can download all these parks for yourself if you want to check them out. I do recommend checking them out for yourself. If you want to download them, simply join my Discord server. You can find the link in the video description. And you don't have to worry, because Discord is completely free. Anyway, let's go check out the next entry. Okay, here's the entry from The Brew. Now, he didn't actually recreate a park, but he recreated an attraction that's outside of a park. And this one's actually in the center of London, because this ride is the London Eye. Now, I really like the structure for the ride that The Brew made, and I think it's also a great choice to actually use these airship-themed monorail trains as cabins for the ride. Now, they don't stay horizontal for the duration of the ride, as these vehicles actually have sprites for sloped track. but I do think it's convincing enough to use these as pods or cabins for the ride. I think the Brew did a really nice job at recreating this ride. I also really like this building that he made right next to it, which definitely shows you that it's in the center of London, or at least in England. But yeah, just a wonderful recreation from the Brew. Alright, here's another coaster recreation. This is the entry from Herbert, and he recreated Fury, a ride at Bobbejaanland, which is actually one of my favorite coasters. Now, normally this coaster gives riders the opportunity to choose whether they want to go forwards or backwards. Now, in reality, there's usually two queues, one for guests that only want to go forward, and there's one queue for guests who can choose whether they want to go forwards or backwards. Usually in the backwards row will let the ride go backwards. Well, I did the ride in both directions. There's actually a turntable here, and yeah, I think it's just an amazing ride. I really love this launch. It has a nice hang time as well. It's an awesome ride. And I think Herbert did an amazing job recreating this ride. I quite like how he did the station, these fences over here. There's some simple rock work here under the coaster. And yeah, I think the layout works pretty well. And there's some nice support work done here as well. So yeah, what can I say? It's just a wonderful recreation from Herbert. Pretty nice job. Now, there's just two more entries remaining. I will first show both of them, and after that I will reveal which one is the winner of this round. Alright, here's the entry from Fitwell. Now, I have to zoom out a bit to show the entire entry. But of course, this ride is Tower of Terror. So it's just an enormous structure. Riders enter a lift cabin, and let me quickly use the cutaway view. So down below here you see the basement or the ground level where guests enter. They enter this what looks like a factory here. Yeah, also really nice decorations here on the inside of the building. You also see some backstage areas here, by the way. Those are also really nicely done. Also with some staff scenes, which are always funny to check out. So yeah, go check out this entry for yourself. It's just beautiful. But anyway, here we can see all the stuff on the ground level. Then we go up. Here you can see the lift cabins that the guests will enter or exit here as well. Then they travel upwards through several showrooms, rooms with special effects. I believe this is a room with all kind of stars and stuff. I'm not too familiar with the ride myself. I've seen a documentary on it once, and I do remember I was really fascinated. And then finally the lift cabins travel all the way up here. Then I have to zoom out a bit. And when they arrive here at the top, then they plunge down. I hope you can see it in action. Here you could see one plunge down. And there we go. Well, this was sped up a bit. I believe there's a holding brake here. Here we can see it plunge down. Now this maybe you could have used some braking action here at the bottom, but that's probably quite difficult to do. But yeah, I think it's an amazing looking tower, an amazing ride as well, and a great recreation. So yeah, wonderful job from Fitwell. Alright, and here's the entry from SolX, and he actually recreated the small amusement park that was at Pripyat, which is of course the town next to the Chernobyl reactor. Now we can see a small swing ride here, we can see some dodgems, and there was also a Ferris wheel at the park. Now we can also see lots of guests here in a beautiful park, little play area for the kids. Looks like there's Comrade Duckling here as well. That's quite funny. Now the map also says please rotate. So this is Pripyat, April 27, 1986. So let's rotate. If we have to rotate twice. And here we can see Pripyat in, well, probably how it looks right now. So we can see an abandoned Ferris wheel over here. Here you can see the swing ride. Well, the park is of course totally overgrown. Here we can see the dodgems with the roof no longer being structurally sound. Yeah, buildings also look a bit overgrown. Yeah, I think it's a wonderful effect that Sol X realized here. It's just yeah, a beautiful recreation of this still existing park with yeah, with a ride that most people probably wouldn't think of recreating for a contest like this. But yeah, I think this is just an amazing entry from Sol X, and I just love this effect you get by rotating the map. Wonderful entry. Alright, with the last two entries shown, it's now time to reveal which one is the winner of the mini ride recreation contest. Is it this entry from Sol X in Pripyat, or is it the entry from Fidwell with the Tower of Terror? The winner of the mini ride recreation contest is... Fidwell! Yeah, Fidwell just did an amazing job recreating this ride. Must have taken quite some time to get this structure looking so nice. And of course also to get the ride working like this. Also with the decorations on the inside. So yeah, I think Fidwell did a really nice job recreating this Tower of Terror. Now, I already mentioned that you can download these entries from my Discord server. If you're on my Discord server, just go to the mini contest archive, and there you will find all these entries. And also all the ones from previous contests. Available for free. Anyway, yeah, that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching all these entries. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a like. It would really help out my channel. And yeah, I'll see you again in the next video. See you later.